Greetings. I am on my third motor right here that I got out of the field that I'm disassembling to see what I can get for parts out of it. This one is a little bit different than the others. The first two were just the motors. However, this one has a transmission attached to it, as does the last motor, which has a bus transmission attached to it. So my goal is to break down the motor enough that I can take the transmission off. There we go. All right, so that is the generator stand bolt. I have a collection of bolts over there that I'm not strictly sure what they are, so I also need to make sure that as I take this apart, whenever I find a bolt, that I compare it to what I have over here. All right, I'm having the problem that I had on the first motor, is that the fan shroud is attached to the bellows that control the, that control the flaps. And I can't quite see how to disconnect it. I would like to be able to do it without breaking it. Am I just weak? There you go. All right, it was the bolt for the oil filter. Oh shit. Now this one's still connected. This one is still connected to the bellows. I tried to look this up in the book. Couldn't find it in the book. All right, I guess I'm gonna have to try to take the carburetor off first, then the intake manifold. This is my third 34 picked 3 carburetor. Would have been nice to end up with one of the other ones. Yeah, that looks just about as bad as the other one, completely corroded. This is going away. Okay. Should be able to, well, no. Oh yeah, this is what I was doing. I was trying to get down to that. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let me get you close up. All right, right here, this is the problem. This little spring and that little piece of metal is part of this little piece of metal goes down to a bellows. Okay, this is the one that I cut it. There's the other piece because I couldn't figure out how to get it off. So somehow there's supposed to be probably a way that you can get in and knock that off, and you can lift the whole thing off. But I'll be damned if I could figure it out. There we are. Now I gotta work on taking this off, but to get to that I gotta take the sheet metal off. Ouch. Oh, this intake runner is bad. Look at this sand. Like, I can understand insects digging stuff out, but what kind of insect would fill a hole with sand? That doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, that one's rusty too. Okay, so that's loose now. Yeah, that broke off. There. Okay, that's out. Good morning, it is Saturday. I was here late last night. I don't know how much I'll show in the video, but the distributor shaft, the distributor casing shaft broke off inside the engine case. I tried to chisel the aluminum case out to try to loosen it up to pull the distributor shaft out, but I couldn't. So today I'm going to cut off the distributor shaft, and I'm going to use my Dremel to try to hog out the aluminum without damaging the case more than I already have, on the off chance that the case is going to be salvageable. I'm trying to get the aluminum part around the inside and not the magnesium part. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a hole saw. If I can cut out around the shaft, then I can pull the shaft out. All right, there we go, 25 millimeter hole saw. It's one little bit less than an inch. I measured that hole on the other one, and it measured to 1.05 inches. So this should be enough to hog out around the shaft without digging into the side. There you go. Here is the remains of the distributor shaft. This is the bottom of it. I can see that there is still some aluminum stuck to the sides of the shaft. But I took one of my other distributor gears and put it in there and was able to put it in and out. So I believe that I'm going to be able to pull this out with this tool that I bought. Here's the thing, as Monk likes to say. I can see, right? I can see there's plenty of room here, and there's room here. And there's definitely plenty of room there. This shaft is hosed. I mean, I don't know how precise it has to be for the distributor shaft, but that's pretty, I admit that's pretty messed up. That's a learning experience, but yeah, those distributors, I don't know. Let's see if I have one on this one. I don't think I do. Oh, I do. I do. Boy, so I get to go through this again. Maybe I'll try to figure out a better way to do it for the next one. That's why I'm doing this, learning. I can already tell this case is probably going to be absolutely perfect, except that I've already fucked it up, and that has me pissed. Look how there's no corrosion under here. But I cracked it up here, which, you know, maybe could be welded, and I gouged out the goddamn distributor thing. I just know that this, you know, the first two cases, they were shit. And this one is, I can just tell it's going to be perfect. And perfectly ruined because of me. Because basically I'm going to have to lift this side of the case off to get it out from here. But having these studs there going to make it harder, then it's going to be even, and also the bearings that have the lips inside are going to make it harder. So I want to try to get as many of these stubs out as I can. I'm not sure what I got, but I did finally get the damn thing apart. There's almost nothing salvageable from this case, from this engine. Maybe those lifters, but everything on this is so corroded. The bearings on that crankshaft are corroded solid. They don't turn at all. There we go. All right, well, that's that. Tomorrow I will clean up and start working on cleaning up the parts that I'm going to keep. All right, the third engine teardown is complete. I think it's safe to say it was a nearly complete disaster. Mostly my fault. This case was actually almost good, almost no corrosion inside, but everything was seized much worse than the other two cases. The distributor was seized in there. The crankshaft bearings were seized on the crankshaft, and because those are pinned to the case, they were seized and I couldn't turn the crank. The connecting rods were seized to the crank. Almost. The wrist pins on the connecting rods, 2 of them were completely seized. The rings were seized to the cylinder. Everything was completely rusted and seized. So even if I had got the transmission off, I probably wouldn't have been able to save the case. Yeah, it was just brutal. But again, the purpose was to get the transmission off, which I did, because I have a manual transmission that I need to separate. And so now I know how hard that's going to be if that one is also not going to turn. Okay, so cleanup is mostly done. I mopped all the grease I could get up off the floor and out. the doorway to my unit is filthy compared to all the other units, so it's a little embarrassing. But now I am going to start cleaning the few parts that I got off of this. I got almost nothing. It was almost a complete waste. But I'll clean what I have, and then I will pull out the next motor, and hopefully on that one I will do a better job.